Hello, you are listening to A Woman's Guide, Episode 3. What is a three-part being? Could you possibly be seeing yourself less than you are? Today's episode is seeing yourself as a three-part being. Stay tuned. This is a woman's guide to reclaiming wholeness after sexual abuse. For all of you listening, welcome to the show. I am Simone, your confidant and guide. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so I think this will be a good topic to talk about because I think we need a little of a reminder. If not a reminder, a little bit of information. Because I don't think we're really taught all the different aspects of ourselves, of our being, okay? And I think it's important to see ourselves as a whole being, which is body, mind, soul, or spirit, okay? Because it's very easy nowadays. I feel it's very, very easy, especially in the culture, that North American culture that I live in, that it's so one-sided, the perspectives of ourself. It's so one-sided. We just see one thing. And sometimes it's just ignorance. It's ignorance. Or it's forgetfulness. So some of us do really know what we are. We do know what we consist of. But we forget. Because human beings are forgetful. So, definitely, I think because we're indoctrinated on a daily basis about what we are, what people think we are, the things we see all the time, we just have this idea that we're just one aspect of ourselves, and there's a lot more to us than we think, okay? Especially when we're being bombarded, for example, by media. Any kind of media, doesn't matter. You can go outside and you can look on the billboard outside on the road, or you can look on the public transportation and see advertisements, or you go on your phone, you watch TV, and everything. You go on different sites on the internet, and you just see we're bombarded with all these images about what they think we should believe about ourselves, what we should feel about ourselves, what we need, what we're supposed to have, to be desirable or attractive or cool or whatever. So we just have this, we're just being bombarded constantly with this stuff. And of course, I think that because of this emphasis on our appearance and our, physical attributes and what we need to do to make ourselves look good, it just, or the things we need to buy, it gives us this indication that what we are needs to be improved. Like we're not good enough already. So that's a problem. I find it's a problem. Okay? And especially with us women, right? We know there's always so much pressure to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to just be perfect. I think that's what it is. And the funny thing is there's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but we're expected to be thin or a certain body type, or we have to have perfect skin, and we gotta have flawless hair, and we have to be beautiful 24/7, and we're just always bombarded with these unrealistic standards to look pretty or look good. Okay? And of course that's not important. That's not important. Just the way that we look is not important. It's not important. I mean, yes, it's good to look good. It's good to have a certain appearance or presentability about yourself, but it's just too excessive. It's too excessive. Okay? So I know that when you are taking on this ideal or taking on these expectations and all these pressures to look a certain way, you're going to be very miserable and unhappy as a person. And this is another point. You will never, ever meet the standards. that people set out for you, because human beings were never satisfied with what we have, and especially with the media, because it's based on consumerism. um, they're always going to tell you what more you need to do, what more you need to get, and how you need to be in order to be happy with yourself. So it's a trap. It's false. Don't fall for it. It's an illusion. Okay? No matter what you do, it's someone else is not going to like what you're doing, or they're not going to think you're beautiful enough, or pretty enough, or tall enough, or skinny enough, dark enough, light enough. There's always going to be some kind of issue that someone's going to have with you. So don't even try. Just be yourself. Okay? And then on top of all of this pressure, especially specifically because this podcast is about sexual abuse, I find that because we've been abused, there's a whole another level of stress for you, the individual, because when you are sexually abused, I find, I don't know, maybe it's not for everybody, but maybe it's not for everyone that's sexually abused, but the people that I've encountered and people I've seen and how I just see that there's this preoccupation with how you look. That's what we learned somehow, that we have to look a certain way because that's how we derive our sense of self. We derive our sense of self by our looks, or physically, our bodies. Okay? Your brain, especially when it happened when you're very young, your brain just got this idea, because we develop our sense of worth and ideas of self by what happened to us and what was demonstrated on us. So if we're being abused, if our bodies are being abused and treated as an object of pleasure for someone else, our minds begin to think that, okay, well, that's what I'm here for. That's my role. That's my function. That's my purpose. So we carry that on into life. We just think that whatever we do, we just have to be focusing on our bodies, because that's where we feel like our worth is. That's what I believe. That's what I believe, because I know that happened with me specifically. I know that happened with me because um, I was abused, and I just grew this idea, or this pathology, okay, this pattern of thought, this like deeply ingrained pattern of thought, that because I was being treated in this way, I just felt like my sense of self was just to be an object, or just to be a tool for someone else's desires. And I just had this preoccupation with my body, because I just felt like, okay, well, my body's being used. That's all this attention is being put to, is my body. Do you understand? And when it's traumatic like that, that's all you think about. You just think about, okay, it's my body, it's my body, it's my body, it's my body, it's my body. So you just do everything based off of your body and how you look and how you appear to be. I'm telling you, like, that's for me. Like, it was just my body. And if you look, I can give you an example. If you look at people who have a career or profession that, for example, like strippers, porn stars, prostitutes, anyone that has a profession where it's based purely on their body and what their body can do to provide pleasure, or, some kind of attention to someone else. I mean, I swear, I can be completely sure that those people who chose that kind of profession, and it's not a judgment, it's just, I'm observing that anyone who would choose to do that, to just have their body purely their sense of life, or just being their life, or choosing their way of life as just being something that's based off of purely off their body. I mean, there's models too, okay? It's not a judgment, but I just believe that some of these women who are in that kind of profession, I think they've been exploited in some way, because just like I was saying, I felt like everything was just my body. So I'm thinking that maybe they also think that whatever whatever they do, or whatever they do with their life, or however they live their life, or they conduct their life, it's just going to be with their body. It is just a preoccupation with their bodies. And a lot of them get all these enhancements and body modifications to look a certain way because their livelihood is based purely on their bodies. But I think there's all different kinds of people, but I just believe that there are sometimes, because of the things we've gone through, we just derive our sense of self based off of our bodies. Our bodies that's it. It's just our bodies. We shouldn't really be preoccupied so much with our body. We do need to acknowledge and enjoy that we have a body. I mean, it's okay to enjoy your body. It's okay. It's okay to enjoy our body, but we need to understand that it's not all that we are. Okay, it's not all that we are, and I'm making this episode because I just remember so much about how I just used to think. I just used to think everything was my body. Everything was my appearance. Everything was how I looked. And it's a sad way to be when you just think everything is just about your body, and there's so much more. There's so much more to you. But anyway, let me go on. So I just think, our body, it's there. It's there for us to function and move and live our life. It's the vehicle that we carry to live out our life and our life purpose, okay? But we also have a mind. Let's not forget that. We have a mind. We have intelligence. We have reasoning. We're thinking and reasoning beings, functioning beings. So when we're so preoccupied with our bodies, we're totally going to neglect the fact that we have a mind, neglect that we have an ability to use our mind to the capacity that it can be used. Because, I would say too that sometimes we're not able to use our minds, specifically when we've been crippled mentally by the abuse that we've suffered, because it does cripple your mind on some level. It does. For sure. I know that for sure. Okay? Because it cripples your mind. Like I said in my first video, was it my first video that I was talking about trauma and what it does to your mind? I think that abuse just cripples our ability to use our mind in an efficient and productive way. It does. You just can't think clearly. It does something to your mind. And there's a lot of different studies that prove that those who have gone through sexual abuse, they experience some kind of mental disorder. They experience some kind of mental disorder, dysregulation of their emotions, of how it functions. It changes their mind. Your mind's inability to regulate emotions. So that can most likely, that lends to some kind of disorder, which is borderline personality disorder or bipolar or something like that. And you have other mental disorders like schizophrenia and depression, and you have other things that happen to your mind. So your mind can't be so readily, I guess, maximized, because your mind is sick, it's disordered, or it's dysfunctional on some level. It's not to say everybody who's gone through abuse has a dysfunctional mind, but the majority, the vast majority have something going on in their mind. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying this because we need to have our minds healthy, okay? We need to have our minds healthy because we need our minds. We need our minds. Also, worry and anxiety is another thing that a lot of people experience. Me, for example, just worry and anxiety. I was always worried. I was always in fear, always thinking something's going to happen, something's going to go wrong. No matter what I did, something is going to go wrong. So it kind of, it really did mess up my feelings, or mess up my thoughts. I struggled with racing thoughts, and, my emotions would switch back and forth very quickly. Some days I'd be very, very high, hyper energetic. I'd be very, happy and giggly. I think that's what they call hypomania. Hypermania or hypomania. And then other days I'd be very depressed and low. Sometimes I actually had a real stuttering problem, okay? Like, I used to stutter a lot because this was like my brain was racing, 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 and my mouth couldn't keep up with my mind, and so I would stutter. And that was embarrassing to me. But basically what I've described here was, I think, bipolar disorder on some level, a mild version of bipolar disorder. I kind of figured that out when I met this girl at some kind of employment center when I was looking for a job, and we became cool. We were kind of like cool, and then she was telling me about the problems she had. She was telling me about the problems that she had about, being so angry. I don't know how we got into the conversation, but she was telling me how she was so angry and her mind would always race, and she had to smoke to calm down, and she couldn't sleep at night, and she said she was having a really, really hard time in life, right? And I don't think that was a coincidence that I met her. And she later on, when we were in the subway, I don't know how it got to that point, but she told me that she was sexually abused. And then I started to cry a little bit, and I said, me too. And I kind of just made this connection that, you know what? Yeah, yeah. This abuse thing, yeah, it's gonna mess up your mind a little bit. It's gonna mess up your mind. Not a little bit, I mean a lot. Different things for different people, but I just wanted to say that. So, um, but I wasn't like, I didn't stay that way. I improved a lot. I couldn't really take care of my mental health at that time because my mind was messed up. My mind was messed up. It was only until someone brought something to me that told me that I may have had some kind of issue, but I didn't know because my mind was kind of screwed up. But I think that as we begin to heal, as you attend therapy, as you start to purge yourself of all of these things that happened and the emotions that happened, and just once you release, I noticed that once you release and you let go of things, or you speak to people and you have communion and you admonish each other and you just let things out, that's when the healing starts. I don't know why. I don't know why we function that way. I don't know why we're designed that way, but that's when the healing starts. And that's when you can start working on your mind. But you're not going to know when you're dysfunctional. You're not going to see your dysfunctionality when you're dysfunctional. You're just not going to see it. It's strange. That's why therapy is so effective, because you're releasing things. You're releasing things. You're letting things out. You're letting things go. You're letting things be purged out of your system. So this is what I'm realizing about this with your mind, is that in order for you to have a healthy mind, in order for you to have a productive mind, an efficient mind, certain things need to come out. Things need to come out. Things need to be purged out of your system. And I think that's probably the reason why I was so, mentally screwed up, because I kept that secret for a long time. I mean, not a long, long time. I'm only 29, but I kept that secret for a long time. In my life, for the length of my own life, I kept it a secret for a long time. I kept it a secret for like about, I don't even know. Was it about, I think it was less. Yeah, it was less than 10 years. But anyway, because I held in all of that trauma, I held in that those emotions, those toxic emotions. I held in those thoughts and those confusions and those in the secret. I held it in. And when you hold things in, it begins to fester and it begins to wreak havoc on your mind and on your body. I don't know why that is. When we hold things in, things go wrong. When we don't let things out and we don't express and we don't release anything, we die or we suffer. I guess it's close to the example of breathing. You know, you have to inhale to exhale. And if you don't exhale, you're going to turn blue and then you're going to die. There's a cycle to life, I guess. You have to have things come in, but they also have to come out too. I don't know. But I know for sure that secrets make you sick. Secrets are going to make you sick. Secrets of that level. I mean, if you stole a cookie when you're 8 years old and you didn't tell anybody, I don't think that really matters. But your secrets are sick. So if you are listening and you have not come out with any kind of secret that is causing you to feel awful and that is causing you to be sick, I would advise you to tell someone about it. Tell anyone about it. Because secrets make you sick. I'm telling you. I started my healing journey because I let out what it was that was inside of me. I let it out. Okay? So just, if you have something that you need to deal with, you have something that you need to acknowledge, that you need to let out, and have someone, just take that burden off of yourself. To take the burden off of yourself, it is healing. That's when it heals. That's when you start to heal. Things get so much bigger and darker and heavier, and it just gets so big when you hold on to things. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. But I know for sure that we have to take care of our minds. We have to take care of our minds. Our mind is very important. Don't just focus on your body. Your mind is very important. But if you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you're taking care of your mind. I mean, in the title, you're going to have an idea about what I'm speaking about here. So you have a awareness, or you have a desire to want to improve, or have a better mental health, or better health in general. Because that's what I'm about. I'm about mental health, but I'm also about physical health too. I'm about emotional health too. That's what I'm about. Your mind is severely important, because if it's not okay and if it's not well and you don't treat it well, or you do not get it the help that it needs, or you just don't take care of your mind, if it's sick or it's disturbed or something. And I know it's hard to see that when you are in that, when you're in that dysfunction, when you're not feeling well. It's not easy to see mental sickness or mental illness within yourself. It's not easy. It's because it's normal to you. That's your norm. It's your norm to be disturbed or to have bad emotions or, sickness. It's normal. But if someone's telling you that, hey, I think you have a problem, or I think you need to check that out, maybe you should listen. Okay? Because if you don't take care of your mind, your body will suffer too. Your body's going to suffer. Your body follows your mind. It follows your mind. Whatever happens within your mind, it's going to happen in your body too. So your body is going to suffer too. When your emotions are sick, your body's going to suffer too. I mean, we're all connected. All of those different aspects of us are connected. Okay, so let's go on to the spirit or the soul. So you also have a soul. You have a spirit. Okay, and this is what I believe. I believe this. This is the true essence of you. This is the real you. This is the real you. This is the you that you really are. This is you in the purest form. Okay? And aside from all the mind stuff and the body stuff, and like I'm saying, yes, there's different parts of you which are your mind and body, but that's on the humanistic side. You are your mind and your body here on earth. But you have a spirit and you have a soul. You have something bigger than you that's carrying you and that's guiding you through. You're wearing this body. You're just wearing it. You're borrowing it. You're borrowing this body. You're borrowing this mind. Your mind is just a tool for you to use to get you to where you need to go for it, so you can function here on earth. That's what I believe. So I think that, for example, if I can make a few examples just to, explain what I mean. Like, when you were born, not born, but when you were in the womb, when you were in your mother's womb, and you're developing, you weren't aware of yourself. You didn't really have a mind yet. You weren't developing. You didn't really have much of a body, did you? No. No, you didn't. Your mom probably didn't even name you yet. And if she didn't name you, she probably didn't know you existed. But you still existed, right? You still existed. She may not have known until after a few months and say, holy crap, I'm pregnant with a being, with this soul that's inside of me. This soul that's unnamed or doesn't necessarily have a full body yet, but, or a fully developed body, and you don't have any consciousness, you don't have any real thoughts, you're not thinking in the womb. I'm pretty sure you can't think back that far into the womb. I don't think you had any consciousness of you being in the womb. So, but you still existed. You were still someone, right? You're a soul. You're just wearing this suit. This is a meat suit, The body's a meat suit. The soul is a spark. It's your spark. It's your spark. It's your light. It's your uniqueness. It's this uniqueness you bring. It's like a unique shade or color of something. It's what you bring. It's this indescript thing that you bring individually. You. That's individually you. It's divine. Okay? I know that the ways that we can kind of feel our spirit or know that there's something beyond our bodies is whenever you're in love. Think about when you're in love. I think we've all been in love at some point, okay? Or we're in love with people right now. Doesn't matter what kind of love. It doesn't matter if it's romantic or it's someone that it's your child or it's your sibling or whatever. But we have this love. And we can't explain this love. It's not something we can explain. It's not something we can really figure out what it is. But we feel it. Something happens to us when we love someone, right? We just have this feeling. It makes us feel alive. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we want to be around that person more often, but we cannot explain it. It's not analytical. It's not physical as such. We have physical feelings about it, but it's just this, we just get this sense that there's something bigger here. There's something bigger here. We just feel bigger than we are. I don't know how to explain that feeling. Nobody can really explain love, but you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying, love, when you feel love and when you experience love, or when you listen to some beautiful music and you just feel something happening inside of you that you don't usually feel most of the time, you don't know what it is. You just feel something moving, or you feel more uplifted, or you feel, like you're in another world, or you just have this, I don't know, this feeling or this attachment or something toward this music, okay? It does something to you. It does something to you that you can't explain. And it's like an outer body thing. It's otherworldly. That's your spirit. That's your soul. That's your spirit coming alive, or your soul coming alive. Or for example, like if you just feel like you need to do something for someone, you don't really know why. You don't know why. You don't know this person. You don't have any idea about them. You've never seen them before, but you just want to do something for them. You can't explain it. There's just like this pulling or this drawing to do something for someone, and you have no idea who they are, and you don't know why you want to do it for them. You're just doing it for them, or you just want to be around this person. You can't figure out why you want to be around this person, but something's telling you to just be around this person, and you feel a certain way. That's your spirit speaking to you too. Yeah, that's your spirit. You know that. I mean, when you have these weird not emotions, but just these weird, uh, I wouldn't say weird, but you just have these states of being where you just feel different. You feel different. You feel elated. You feel, you really feel love. When you feel love, you feel like this deep love or this deep admiration or this deep, profound feeling, something that makes you cry or something that makes you feel joyful, joyful crying. You can't really explain it. It just feels different. It feels otherworldly. You just have a drawing to something. You can't really explain what it is. That's your spirit speaking to you. That's your soul activating, or not activating, but just letting you know that it's there. That's when, your soul is reminding you that, hey, I'm here, you know? But that's what I believe. That's the best I can do to explain that. When you realize that you have a soul or a spirit, it makes you appreciate yourself more. It makes you appreciate yourself more because you then think that, okay, there's something more to myself than just this, body or this mind. It makes you appreciate yourself more. I don't know why, but it does. And if you allow yourself the opportunity, you start to have, it gives you more of a personal power. You feel more powerful because you know that there's something bigger, or there's something higher, there's something more to you than there's something more to you than you can see. You know that there's something that is supporting you, or something that is, I don't know, powerful. And it makes you feel like you have more of a personal power. It makes you stronger, here in this life when we're living, and we have to go through all these difficulties and hardships and challenges and, different relationships. And it's, if we were just to have just our bodies and our minds, oh my goodness. And I think that's a reason why a lot of people self-destruct anyways, because they don't have this awareness that there's something more. They don't have this understanding that there's something that's supporting you and helping you through it. But you have to allow it. If you don't allow it, then, it can't help you. It wants to help you. Your soul wants to help you. Your spirit wants to help you. But you have to allow it to help you. But that's what I think about that. I also believe that the soul is something that causes us to know or feel or have an impulse to do something, to bring or do something here in this world. Which I'm speaking about is purpose. Where we believe that we have to do something. We just have this impulse to do something here on this, something special, something different here on earth, or here in our lives, or here among other people. We have this impulse to do something. That's what I think your soul is too. What your soul or your spirit does. It tells you what you need to do. And I really believe that. And I think that you need to have this awareness that there's something true or higher about yourself. You need to have this awareness. I mean, you don't have to, but, you don't have to. But I'm saying you cannot just believe that you are just a mind and a body. A mind and a body, there's got to be more than that. There has to be more than that. There's got to be more than just your thoughts, your reasonings, your emotions, your body, the fact that you run, you sleep. There's, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's a robot, that's just like a machine, that kind of machine type of thing. There's got to be something more graceful and pure and true about yourself. I don't know. That's just me. That's just how my mind functions. I don't know. Not, well, it functions, but that's just what I believe. I just, it's hard for me to believe anything beside that, or to believe that there's less than that. I don't know. That's just me anyway, like I said. But I think that's where also the healing comes from, is from your spirit and your soul. So when you've gone through a certain situation, like I have with abuse, like you have with the abuse, I'm assuming, that, you get to a certain point and you start to heal. I think that's your soul, your spirit facilitating that. It's saying, okay, well, you've had enough of this lesson. Now you need to heal. That's your soul, your spirit, When you grow and when you evolve, when you become better, when you develop yourself, I think that's your soul and your spirit helping you to that level, or telling you when it's time to change or to have a different experience. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that the soul helps with recovery. It helps with recovery, helps with becoming better and, overcoming challenges and all these different things. And when you have this awareness that there's something bigger than you, then there's more to you than just your mind and your body. But there's something a little bit deeper than that. I feel like you experience more joy. You experience more joy and fulfillment of life and love. And it's easier to appreciate others because you know that we all have a soul and we all are connected. So it's easier for you to appreciate others as well. And it completes you. I just feel like it completes you. I think, making a reference back to my last video, I think it was my last video that I was saying something about, or was it my first video? I'm sorry, I don't really remember which one I said that when people do not have a knowledge of something more than themselves, they begin to feel empty and they begin to feel more, I guess, worthless, or they just don't have a reason for living. Forgive me, I really don't remember which episode I said this in. It's probably the first episode. And, they self-destruct because they don't have anything else to anchor onto. They don't have anything more to look to or to have hope about. They don't have anything like that. They just think that whatever they see, whatever they're experiencing, that's all there is. And we just happen to end up here. We just happen to be doing what we're doing. We're just happenstance or, coincidence. We're not planned to be here. We're not supposed to be here. Or we just happen to be here, but nothing matters. That means that nothing matters. There's no reason for our life. And those people self-destruct. So I make the connection. I just feel like there's a connection. You got to have an understanding that there's something more than just you and just your skin and your body and your thoughts and your reasonings and your tears and, the crappy situations in life. You got to think that there's more. There has to be more. There's got to be more. So, but that's all I wanted to say about that. That's all I wanted to say about that. It's just some more stuff to think about. You know what I mean? Just some more stuff to think about. And I only tell you things that possibly can spark some kind of, something within you, or it can benefit you or be helpful in some way. And of course, it's through my experiences. So, hopefully you can take something from that. So that's it for today, and thank you for listening to A Woman's Guide to Reclaiming Wholeness After Sexual Abuse. If you like what you heard, please rate and review on iTunes. Next week, we will be getting into knowing your purpose, Be sure to tune in. Until next time, take care.